What's going on, everybody? It's GameBad7 back with another Final Fantasy Tactics The Ivalice Chronicles video. Today we're going to be going over a news roundup. Lots of new clips and details to go over since the last video. Matunso shares some never before seen concept art from 97 of some beloved characters, and also answers an extremely important question we've been wondering about. There's also a new interview up from the director of The Ivalice Chronicles himself up on the PS blog that we'll go over. Let's dive into it. Alright, first up, we've got a nice view here of how changing job works with Ramza as an example. Honestly, the flowchart makes sense. It is super clean, and if you were ever looking up any guides on how to play the game, pretty much every one that people designed was based off of a flowchart like this, so it does make sense that they stuck with that design. I will miss the iconic job wheel though. Next up, we have the difficulty modes for the game. So when you're starting the Enhanced Edition, you have the standard difficulty, but you also have casual, which is described as a relaxed experience, and tactical, which, as you guessed, is challenging combat. It says that you can change your playstyle even after starting the game as well, which is nice. Another new tidbit here is that if you pre-order the game on PSN, you'll receive Ramza and Delita avatars for your PlayStation account. I believe this next bit is Japanese exclusive, but if you order it on Amazon, you get a sticker. Up next, we've got several scenes showing off the voice acting for a lot of different characters. First, we'll start with Duke Larg, one of the two rival dukes seeking power in Ivalice. He's in charge of the Order of the Northern Sky Knights, which is supposed to be one of the strongest, and he is the brother of the Queen. Up next is Duke Goltanna. He's in charge of the Order of the Southern Sky Knights, and he's one of the two dukes vying for power. His key through power is going to be Princess Ovelia. Next, we'll hear from the Princess Ovelia herself. She's a 15-year-old princess used as a tool in various machinations in order to try and hold the throne. Something really cool is Matunso showed us a never-before-seen rough concept art sketch of her back from the original game's development. Next, we have Sidolphus Orlando, also known as Thunder God Sid, which is shortened to TG Sid. He is a general in the Order of the Southern Sky. He served as a general during the 50 Years' War that took place prior to Final Fantasy Tactics. Next, we have Oran. He's a mage belonging to the Knights of the Southern Sky. His biological father was a comrade of TG Sid, who died near the end of the 50 Years' War. So TG Sid took him in and adopted him, and then later, TG Sid helped him be adopted by a vassal family of his, the Durai family. Now, when you start the game, you may notice the game's being narrated by someone named Aslam Durai, so keep that in mind. Up next is everybody's favorite, Algus Sidolphus, also known as Agrias Sidolphus. He serves under the Marquis of Elmdore. He comes from a noble family, and his grandfather was captured during the 50 Years' War and betrayed a friend for his freedom and was killed shortly after because of that. Well, word got out and his entire family, his reputation was ruined. And just like with Ovelia, we got some never-before-seen rough sketches of Algus. Next, we have the one that Algus serves, which is Marquis Elmdore. He is a general of the Order of the Southern Sky under Duke Goltanna, serves alongside TG Sid. He is the ruler of Limbury. He's known as the Silver Prince by his allies, but by his enemies, he's known by the Silver Demon. He's a loyal, devout member of the Church of Galapagos. Just want to take a quick second to say, if you're enjoying the video, I would really appreciate it if you gave us a like. It helps me know that what I'm doing is working. especially if you go ahead and subscribe. If you take a look at my channel and you see my videos are for you, my type of content is for you, Really would appreciate it. Helps out a small channel like mine. Just get pointed in the right direction to let me know I'm doing the right thing. All right, back to the breakdown. All right, back to Marquis Elmdore. Here's another one of those original concept arts that Matsuno posted. A funny thing is he actually commented on the rumor that Final Fantasy VII Sephiroth was used as the basis for his design, but advised that that wasn't true. At the time that the character was conceived, I quote, "We hadn't grasped Final Fantasy VII's characters at all, and the silver and long hair was purely coincidental. By the time we noticed the visual overlap, development was well underway, so we just went ahead and implemented it as is." He says that's the truth. And someone asked, if it's just coincidental that they look the same, then why is he also wielding the Masamune? And to which Matsuno responded, to begin with, Final Fantasy VII released on January 31st, 97. At that time, Final Fantasy Tactics was in the final stages of development, aiming for a spring master-up. Now remember, this is translated, and English is not his native language. I recall spending those days with consecutive all-nighters. Embarrassingly, I only properly played 7 after Final Fantasy Tactics release. Therefore, there was no intention, at least from a project perspective, to target Sephiroth. The battle data settings were handled by Hiroshi Ito. I believe that's a translation issue, because what he's meaning to say, or at least, I don't want to say what he's meaning, but maybe what it was supposed to say is Hiroki Ito, who is a Final Fantasy veteran developer and did the battle system for Final Fantasy Tactics. But as he's saying, it was handled by him, so it's possible that he, knowing this, set up Masamune deliberately. Even so, it would likely just be within the scope of his playful tinkering. So no, Marquis Elmdore is not based on Sephiroth. Up next, we have one of my favorites, Lady Agrias Oaks, or Agrias Oaks. She is a member of the Lion's Guard, so she's the personal bodyguard of the royal family, and she's assigned to Princess Ovelia. There was a time where whenever I had a created character in a video game, it was some version of Agrias. Now, we were also lucky enough to get one of those never-before-seen concept art sketches of her from the original game's release. Next, we have Gaffgarian. Now, he is a true mercenary, serving whatever means to fill his pockets. He served the Order of the Eastern Sky during the 50 Years' War, but was discharged due to his get-the-job-done-at-any-means methods. Brash and ruthless, and he won't hesitate to slaughter any who oppose him. He is employed by Ramza's brother, Darg, under the Order of the Northern Sky. He sounds exactly like I always imagined it. Now, sadly, no concept art of Gaffgarian has been provided yet, but I believe more are on the way. But I wanted to show off this one of Ramza. Thought it was really cool. Here's his Chapter 1 uniform, and as you can see, there is no ponytail in the original concept art, and then you see the variations have it in. So they obviously decided on that variation as the final drawing, but that's the first time I've ever seen him without a ponytail for his Chapter 1 drawing. The last batch of voice acting clips is going to be from Simon. He's a high-ranking official of the Church of Glabados, who was sent to the Orbon Monastery kind of in exile, and while there discovered something very important. Princess Ovelia was sent to Orbon Monastery to learn from him, and that's kind of where the game kicks off. Interesting voice direction there from the actor. We'll have to see what the English version sounds like. That's it for the voice clips. Can't wait to hear what the English voice actors sound like. But for now, we'll move on to, we got a new clip of the world map and what the UI looks like. But first, let's revisit the old game. And now let's see what it's going to look like in the Ivalice Chronicles, the Enhanced Edition. There is so much information to take from this 20-second clip going over the map in the UI. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to throw the PS1 map up alongside the Enhanced Edition of the Ivalice Chronicles. So in the Ivalice Chronicles clip on the right, Ramza is at Zagolas Swamp, which is no longer a green dot. It is a colorless node. And if you look about 2 nodes over to the right where Boreas Hill would be, it's the same thing. Instead of green, it is a colorless node. The cities, instead of blue dots, are now its own icon city that are shaped to each individual city, which is going to give so much life to this map. Now, if we zoom out and we look at the menu option here at the bottom while we're at Zagola Swamp, this far left option here translates to search for enemies, which either means A, there's no more random battles, and to generate a battle, you need to go on one of these colorless nodes, press the button to generate the battle. Or B, it's a quality of life enhancement, so you don't have to travel from one point to another over and over again, hoping for a random battle to start, and that, yes, random battles will still happen, that you can also trigger them at your own pace as well. It's unconfirmed whether they're completely gone or they're still in the game, but you have control over it happening if you want. Now, if you know this part of the game, when you go to this next area, Galg Magic City, the story mission is supposed to pop. But as you see, there is a node directly to the north where the battle is. So it looks like they separated that node out from Magic Galg City. So you can go to the city, use the faculties at the city, then go north of it to start the battle, which is definitely new. Now, speaking of facilities at a location, listen to this. That's new music. That's crazy. I didn't think we were getting anything new. So that blew me away just hearing that. Now let's compare that to the screen from the PS1. Pretty drastically different. Honestly, details like this earn that enhanced edition title. Now, using those faculties, here we've got a screenshot of what it looks like inside of the shop. I'll miss the personality of the PS1 with the shopkeep's face and his quote next to it, and then you see the little shop in the background, but the new one UI-wise still looks nice. Now, the Warriors Guild also got a simple, clean update here where you can actually see the batch of the soldiers that you want to recruit, as opposed to clicking the button and just going back, clicking the button and going back, which is much simpler. Now, in Final Fantasy Tactics PS1, you could always rename monsters, but for generic units, you were stuck with the names you had in the beginning. I would always, in every playthrough, dump all the beginning units, sell all their gear, use the money from that to then buy all new units, name them after my friends and family, and then have to go from there. But now, in the Ivalice Chronicles, you can actually change the name of generic units. Now, finishing off the review of the facilities, we didn't get a look at the inside of the tavern, but Rumors and Errands got revamped. So we'll take a look at Rumors first and then compare it to the original. Really nice Errands UI improvement by having the units in the bottom right. Let's compare it. Now, the next thing that they broke down was the Squire job. I don't know how many jobs they're going to go through these little breakdowns of, maybe just the beginning ones. With Squire, as you can see here, it's the standard as it was before. You've got accumulate, dash, throw stone, and heal. And it looks like passive abilities or non-damage abilities have green icons, where abilities that cause some sort of damage are now red icons. And we can see here how it compares to the original. This honestly might be one of the best UI improvements so far they've shown. I love this screen, how you've got the new job little icon on the left, then you have your character up top with all the stats. Your abilities are now color-coded and have their own little icons for activations with your tooltips on the side. I really think this is a menu that's really well designed. Next, we're going to get to see the Squire in action using the Accumulate ability. This raises your attack and is an easy self-target ability that gives you JP. This will last you for a long time. And here's a video of what it looked like in PS1. Next, we're going to get into some of Matsuno's replies, where he does reveal some pretty cool stuff and confirms one of the things that we've been wondering all along. So let's dive into that real quick, and then we'll get to the big news. A fan asked why we don't see any official artwork of Ramza in his final armor. And I know we have this image here from 97 that says Squaresoft, but I'm not honestly quite sure if this is original to the game. And then we also have Ramza in Dissidia showing his final armor. Matsuno makes it clear that the game is about 2 months away and they'll be releasing much more of these concept arts. So hopefully we see Ramza in all his armors as well as several other characters. And here's the biggest news of this section of the video, in my opinion. Matsuno replying to a fan saying that that none of the events that were added in the PSP War of Alliance version is going to be in the Ivalice Chronicles. So I actually just made a video going over what War of Alliance brought to the table, and I went over a few of those events. And there's a list online that'll show you all of them, and some of them are fantastic, really. And that makes me pretty sad that we're not going to have those. I really hope they supplement them somehow with, you know, the additional story they're adding, especially things like Beowulf and Miliadul. I mean, some of these story pieces are so cool that we're going to be missing out on. So this I thought was pretty big news to see it in writing confirmed they will not be in the game. And PlayStation Blog had posted a exclusive interview with Katsuhiro Mihiro, the director of the game, going over some details about how the source code for the game was lost, how and why that happened. So they had to build the game from the ground up, making the classic version so then they could enhance it with the enhanced version, having all the tools and everything at their fingertips, which could be good news because that means they're not modifying an old code. Everything is new that they've written, so it's easy for them to make updates and changes for patches, maybe DLC and mods. And also, I think it shows it's not really that much of a cash grab that you're hearing people say, because it would be very easy for them to have just emulated the PS1 game, but they took the time and energy and care to rebuild the game from the ground up to be able to have a platform to construct the enhanced edition of the game on top of that classic edition of the game. So we got some really good updates there. Very happy with that. I was actually away for a couple weeks on vacation, came back, so a lot of great news. Wanted to get in here and make a video as soon as possible for everybody. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Again, if you've had a good time, if you like the content I'm making, you know, take a look at the channel. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. You know, that really helps me out. Again, as a smaller channel, like the video, share it with your friends too. And I'll make sure to be back making more videos whenever there's any updates or anything like that. And again, as always, I will catch you on the next one.